The Wellness Show, episode 150.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. So welcome to the Wellness Show, and today, yet again, I'm excited. I seem to be always excited when I'm doing interviews, but I'm really excited, truly excited to have Lorraine Burke on the call. And I've had the experience of having a 12-strand DNA activation from Lorraine, and I can tell you she's the real deal. So we're going to talk about what does all this mean and how did this show up in her life. So stay tuned for a half hour that's going to knock your socks off. You're going to leave this call knowing a lot more about who you are and why you showed up on planet Earth. So, Lorraine, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tyson. It's beautiful to be here, and particularly on this land and in this country.
Yes, we're really blessed to be Canadian, so I really highly blessed. So, Lorraine, how did this come about? You mentioned to me at one point that you were a walk-in. So what does that mean?
Yes. The second child was born, a little girl in the physical form I now inhabit, and she was blue, and the top gynecologist in Perth delivery said she would die within 2 hours. The mother that became my mother was holding the little form, and when she left, I slid in, and big pink spots came on either upper arm and either thigh, and I'm told this, and it's all recorded, and I turned pink. And the doctor said, well, this can only be a miracle. We've never seen anything like this happen before. So straight after birth, apparently, or I wasn't born, I walked into the little one, I had a huge vibration, straight away. And my father told me, my aunties told me, and my mother told me. And people used to love to hold me because it was something they'd never felt. And my father said, when he'd say to people, if they asked to hold me, watch her because she'll jump. And apparently I did that right from the beginning, tiny little baby, trying to jump out of their arms because I didn't like their energy. So that, moving on to the way I was, I knew that I was born for the healing of, I used to call it mankind as a child, and then as I grew older, humankind.
So and I knew that I was... Let me ask you a question because I'm really curious. When you did make this walk-in, are you aware that there was maybe a soul contract between the baby that was, the soul that was departing in you? Was there
yes.
There was some sort of...
Yes.
Okay, I just
definitely
asked that. So that's always a contractual agreement. It's just like you just don't walk in and say, hey.
No. You can't push someone out.
Right. Okay, so the next step was, so you had a hard time with everybody's energy and wanted to jump right out of their arms.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I was very, very sensitive, extremely sensitive. And I've been for a long time, Mary Rodwell, who's in Australia, who works globally, calls me a sensitive. So I'm very in tune to everything going on. I'm sensitive in every possible way you can imagine. And my heart is so open, so I feel everything, and I'm full of love. But from whence I came from a place that is full of love. Everybody is so loving. I came from the 7th pink solar system, and the scientists have recently found the planet out there, the pink planet they're calling it, and they've given it numbers, and I can't remember what the numbers are, but that's been very recently found. So someone found it on the internet. So I found it hard on planet Earth because I only knew love, and it wasn't like that. And I used to stand on the beach, we were there often, and ask them to come and take me home. But they never did. And the reason they didn't was because I knew that my job was here to show people that we can live and live and live. We don't need to grow old and die. And so that's been my main mission. Now it's all unfolding.
Yeah, it sounds like it's unfolding quite quickly. I just have to say, we must be from similar planets because I had the same feeling as a kid. is who put me on this planet, and when are they going to come and pick me up? And guess what? They never did either. So tell me a little bit more about your mission. You said you're here to help humankind, but but more than that, right? You have specific things that you're here to do with regard to humankind, right?
Yes, very much. So it's to show them who we really are, how amazing we are, how powerful we are, and all the rest. So from a very little child, I had huge energy. And for instance, very young, I hit the top in Western Australia in swimming, in netball, in whatever. And in the swimming, I would do long distance swims of up to 3.5 miles. And I was only very young, and I was beating all these men and women, some of them Olympic water polo players, etc. Funny thing is, I'm not competitive. That just isn't in me. And I would swim ahead of them and then pull back because it was like, oh, something might get me out there. So I'd wait for them and then swim again with them. And I was only 12 years old, and they were men and women in their 20s, top swimmers in the state. So I could never work out how to make myself exhausted. Like I would really, really sprint, and I always have the same energy that when I started. And I couldn't work it out. Now, X years later, having been on the planet for a reasonably long time, I now understand that that's my energy, because healing people have checked me and put their hands on me and said, Lorraine, I've never felt such a high vibration. Well, I just say vibration, but that's what they say. So I'm now understanding that the energy I came in with, which seems all natural to me and doesn't feel like high or low or anything else, is the reason why I can do what I can do.
So what you're saying, I think, is that you're a precursor of where we're going in planet Earth and evolutionary process, and that what you are demonstrating is that we will all have this potentiality if we don't already have it.
Yes, that absolutely. And so that's why I came.
Yeah. So
to show people.
how did you come to the realization that humans didn't have all 12 strands of their DNA activated? I'm assuming that you knew from the get-go that you came fully activated. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, it is. I became really aware of that in the last few years, but powerfully aware when all the Akashic records were downloaded into me from decoding that drawing over 45 minutes. And I saw it, I felt it, and I heard it. And So
this was a drawing. Were these like channeled drawings that somebody had done that didn't quite understand what they were, and that you were able to translate
no
them?
one could do. Yes, George Allen, and I also have another friend in Western Australia, Tracy Taylor, who has downloaded drawings into her, and so I can decode them.
So you're an interplanetary cultural translator then? Yes,
and I have a star languages, and I know everything. I don't know how that is, but I'm telepathic. I read minds. I don't want to, but that just comes in. I know what people are thinking, and all that. And we all have those abilities.
Yes.
But once the other 10 strands are activated, we can all do that. Everyone.
So that led you to then come up with a way in which you can do that to help other people.
Well, I didn't come up with a way so much as I drop into portals all the time. And Mary Rodwell said, Lorraine, you've been naturally making portals since you came here. And I do. And now I understand all the feelings I had in my head when I was a child and studying and learning, or not studying, but learning and writing thesis and all sorts. The same feeling happened in my head as when I drop into a portal.
So what's the connection between dropping into a portal and 12-strand deactivation? Are they related?
Okay. I don't know. Dropping into a portal and decoding are related.
Oh, I see.
They happen at the same time for me.
Yeah.
And I don't see anything or hear. My voice drops, and it's doing that now. And my voice dropping is a big part of why I'm here, for the healing of humankind. And I knew that I'd speak before thousands and they would be instantly healed. Well, that's coming now towards that. And what else did you want to know about
Well,
that?
I have a question around all that. Is that what the language of light is all about? There seems to be more and more people on planet Earth that are, channeling languages of light. And if I'm understanding correctly, it's not so much that we need to understand the language or what's being said, but it's the vibrational frequency that is actually altering us or raising our vibration or preparing us in some way. Is that correct?
Yes, I don't channel anything. And I don't channel star language. I have it. I actually have it from coming from out there.
Right. So in downloading the Akashic record, going back to that, then you really know why people are here, what their mission is on planet Earth, how they came here, what their karmic background is, and all that. So you really are in a position to help people get out of their own way and show up. Is that right?
Yeah, and yes, and I didn't know what Akashic record. I don't read books or go to conferences or anything. I just am me, and I want to stay like that. I want to stay pure as I am, and I didn't know what Akashic records are when I said that in decoding, and I didn't even know how to spell it. So I was helped to find out how to spell the word. So I don't know the reason I have all the Akashic records in me, and it will unfold. I do know that since then, I was sitting in a portal at home just after those conferences in Perth, and I had each hand up palmed on either knee. And all of a sudden, I was lifting one hand and saying, have to activate the planet to the 12th dimension, have to activate 12-strand DNA, have to activate the planet to the 12th dimension, and so on, and just repeating it. It was coming to me. So I rang a friend whom you know, Dallas Mays, and said, Dallas, this is what's happened. And she said, well, do it with me. Activate the 12-strand DNA. And I had no plans about how to, except that I do know from very early on when I came here, if I had a hurt or a pain inside me, I would see white light inside. I wouldn't bring it in.
Yeah.
I would see it inside, put it in the place and fix it up. So then I said to Dallas, well, I know this, so, can you see white light? So I used that technique that I came in knowing to share with people so they can do it too.
So so that's really exciting. So, going back to the idea that you don't channel because you don't need to, because you already have it within you. Do you think that's maybe the case for all human beings, that we already have all this cosmology, all this understanding inside of us? We just don't know how to activate it?
Well, the key to that is that people have only got 2 strands of their 12 activated.
Yeah.
Because when they came in, the death seal was put on them so they wouldn't know everything. That's the control on this planet.
Right.
Then they would die and go outside to find out the more, and then reincarnate and come back a little more wiser, etc.
So this is really what you're saying is that when we do the 12-strand activation, then the whole concept of dying in order to remember who you are and life lessons is over. So then we're moving towards immortality. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And I've always felt physically immortal.
Right.
And all the people, I call them people, some people call them ET.
Yeah.
All the people on all the planets across all the universes have 12 strands activated. They don't die. They live 6, 7, 8, 900 years.
Right.
They don't age.
Right.
They don't do anything. It's only on this planet because we're so controlled. So as soon as you activate those other 10 strands, the death seal is removed. You don't have to die and go out there to find out the more. If you're very developed, it'll come in fast into you. If you're not, they'll do it gently.
Wow.
Gently.
Very interesting. So in this 12-strand activation, and you do have a way in which people can have that experience individually or collectively. Yeah. And so tell us about that. I understand you have
what happened, like all my life, I've been loaded with, I call it the universal life force, the God force, God, the source. It's all the same thing. It's everywhere. And I am just loaded with it. It just comes down into me. I don't ask for it. It just comes. Right. So when I'm doing activation with people, when I'm assisting them to do their own activation, I start talking to them, all of a sudden I can feel it. and it just floods in out through my hands, which they can feel across the internet. It's amazing. And or they can feel it through my heart, but they feel it. And they all say they feel it, that energy. And it's not me. It's not my energy.
Well, I agree with you. I certainly felt it when you did it. No doubt about that.
Really?
I mean, I was on the receiving end. So when it comes through, is it different for every group, or is it different for every individual, or is it similar?
It's all the same.
Yeah.
The energy, the source comes through me and out,
Yeah.
but the response is different. And what happens is, I find amazing,
Yeah.
when I was uploaded all the 12 strands, I saw it coming up like out of a piece of cloth being pulled up.
Yeah.
And I heard it. And the sound I heard was this metallic ching, 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 right?
Yeah.
I'd say squillions of strands coming up.
Yeah.
I could see it. Each one was a little separate piece about that wide, that long, lead pencil width, and there was a tiny little gap between each one, and they were going up in streams. And that sound, whenever I do the activations with people, well, they do it, but I'm assisting them, I hear the sound, and they hear it too.
So what do you think that's about?
I don't know. My thought is that they're clearing past lives, but I don't know. That's my thought.
Right.
And usually whatever comes to me is so. But having not had anything to do with the Akashic records before, it's quite, and my voice is dropping now, so I'm speaking the core truth by saying this. But as soon as my voice drops, I know that's the core truth.
So even right now, as your voice is dropping, you're actually in the process of everybody listening to this call is actually in the midst of clearing, because they're speaking from that higher part of yourself.
Me.
Yeah.
I don't, and we were talking about this earlier today, not you, but I don't understand the higher part, the higher self. That I hear people talking like that. I am totally integrated.
Right.
And when
that's a misnomer for us human beings that forget that we're not all 12 strand activated. We think we have to go to another part of ourselves because it hasn't been fully embodied in our body yet. So most
that
of
is right.
And you're telling me that you're fully integrated it, and that you can help other people fully integrate that higher self. So there is no higher self. It's you and it are one. Great. Exciting.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
And totally within, yes, absolutely. And totally within their own form. They don't have to go out there and pull anything in.
Right. And no more channeling.
I don't channel. No, you just know everything.
No necessary to channel, because you already have access to all the information, because it's already within you.
And it's inside you.
Yeah, exactly.
Every one of,
Yeah, go ahead. I interrupted you. Every one
of the billions of little cells we've got is our 12-strand DNA intertwined with the innate, or some people call it intuition, right? With the intelligence in every cell, the soul, the spirit, everything is in every cell. So when we open our hearts and our feelings, we are amazing.
Yeah, truly amazing. We're like the superhumans, we
are.
Yeah, and we become the normal superhumans. So the 12-strand activation, when somebody's going to have this experience with you, how long is it? How long does it usually take?
Well, it can take, if it's a big group, like I've done 12 people at once, we can do bigger. While waiting for some people, it can take an hour. But if people do it individually and they're very developed, it can be very quick. All
right, great. So it depends on what needs to be cleared out of the way so that the 12 strands can be activated in the group or individually. Great.
I think,
Go ahead.
I think so. And you're helping me here, because then I'm just realizing that all the chink, chink, chink that I hear, which is the same sound when it was uploaded and downloaded into me, I have felt that they're clearing their past lives.
Oh, neat. And that makes perfect sense too. Because in the way that you're looking at the world through eyes that are fully connected with Source, you're saying that there's only like clouds in front of the eyes. There's only we're in our own way, and that could be all the unresolved emotional trauma and whatever. And so when you're
Yeah.
clearing it out and going ching, 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 you're really letting that 12-strand activation that's already there come forward. So that,
Yeah.
it's a different way of looking at the world. So we're not clearing anything or doing anything. We're just getting everything out of the way to be who we already are.
That's right. So we're activating. You think of the word. We're activating ourselves.
Yeah, great.
To all of who we are.
Exactly. So we talked a bit about this call previously, and one of my passions is working with the rainbow children, right? The ones that are coming through. So could you say a bit about your experience and what are these rainbow children?
So are you talking about the very new ones, the tiny babies coming in now, or later, earlier?
Well,
the little tiny ones.
I mean, was indigo, crystal, they've been all called different things, and now there's rainbow.
So you're calling them all the rainbow children.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have come in individually sometime. Like I know my dad was, but he was before me, and Jesus was.
Yeah.
He's a spaceman. So these children coming in, they've been coming in for a while. Not so many of them at first, and then groups and groups. They are all activated 12-strand DNA, and they are brilliant. And they won't take the mess that's handed out to them. They're black and white. And I was a teacher for 34 years in many fields of education. And I've also been mentoring these amazing, gifted children who are, autistic?
Yes.
Genius minds. Absolutely genius minds. So they've come in with a whole different thought. They have a whole different, they are functioning on vibration. Right? They're functioning on vibration. They're not functioning on thinking.
Right. Yeah, they're on the
feeling levels. They're on the and I don't function on thinking, so I understand them, so I can work with them.
Right.
And I,
So really what you're saying is like the whole labels of autism and giving them Ritalin and all this is our attempt to try and fit them into the paradigm that already exists, and that's not why they're here, right?
It's wrong. They're not here for that, and we should stop doing it.
Exactly.
I mean,
so this unique language that these kids have, is our job is to understand how to relate to them through the heart and the vibrational frequency, right?
Yes, and they've come to teach us how to do it.
Right.
They are very aware of that. They know they're here to teach us, people on planet Earth, to do that.
So as we move ahead, so are they part of the sort of what we might call the planetary cleanup crew? Or, how do you see as we move forward, what is their job? Just literally to change the whole way that we show up on planet Earth?
I don't know about the planetary cleanup. I haven't heard that before. But what I do, because I don't read books and stuff, but what I do know is that they've come here, and these brand new babies now, 100% of them are DNA activated.
Right. Yeah.
So it's been gradual.
Yeah.
And they've come here to assist us in the change.
In the transformation into the new Earth or the new era or whatever, where we come from our heart rather than our head.
Yes. Because really, intelligence is in every cell of the body. It's not the brain. The computer is a model of the brain.
Right.
So I don't know why people don't get it. It's a storage and retrieval system.
Right. Right.
So it's not the brain alone as a brain that does the thinking. It's every cell, including those in the brain, from the top of our heads to our toes and fingers, that is thinking. And we can only access that when we open our hearts and feel our emotions. So emotions are really, really important.
Absolutely. And so, the thing about emotions is that for most people, emotions are things we avoid because they're scary. And therefore we stuff them down, avoid them, ignore them, bury them, but we certainly don't deal with them. And that leads to stress and distress and sickness and disease and disorder. And you're saying the way to really be in the fullness of who you are is you've got to process that and get it out of your body, let it go through you.
And it's really about, if simplified, is opening to feeling yourself.
Right.
So once you're open to feeling, your intelligence in every one of our billions of little cells is thinking, and our intellect comes out. The geniuses like Da Vinci and Einstein, and those people were doing that then. That's how they got all the information to do what they did.
So explain that a little bit more. How did they get all the information to do what they did? It was already in their cells, and by communicating with their cells as one holistic.
And it's yes, and it's already in everyone's cells. It's just that they don't open to feeling, sensing, emotions. And once we open to feeling, which is all of our emotions, we have access to 100% of intelligence. They tell us that we're only using 10% of the brain. What they don't know is that we're using 10% of intellect in our whole body.
Right.
And so, yes.
So that's really interesting.
And I explore that in education and with amazing results.
So talk a little bit about how your experience of being able to take some of this knowledge in the educational system. What sort of changes did you find with the kids when they began to understand, this new way of communicating with them?
Okay, so because I am like I am, I was able to work with them like I do. And I'm not into sitting in a chair and me playing God teacher. Yeah. We were all teachers and learners together. We sat in a circle. We worked things out. They did things in groups of 3. They had to keep changing who was in the groups of 3 all the time. And they were open to feeling. So we played classical music. They could drink in the classroom. They could eat in the classroom while they were working. There were no rules and regulations about what you can't do.
Wow, right? I wish I was going to that school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great. Oh, look, the children were amazing, and they wouldn't go home. They wouldn't go out at playtime. They wouldn't go out at recess time. It was like, come on, kids, I got to have a break. Yeah. And I still have contact with them. And look, they're in their 20s, 30s, and more. And it's amazing. And I worked with them in such that we're all people. We're not girls and boys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're all people, and we can love one another as people. They're still all close friends with one another.
That's
and
exciting.
They were winged, like the last class that I had before I became a full-time artist was a year 6, 7 class, which is our last 2 years of primary school in Western Australia or in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all changed, but so to speak. And almost the whole class won scholarships to gifted and talented programs for high school. Wonderful. Music, art, theatre, dance, science, maths, you name it. That's what happened.
Well, we're about to launch the Rainbow Children's Network, and we sure hope you're going to join us there, because we want to help all the parents, godparents, and caregivers for these kids to understand who they are and all the sorts of things that you're talking about, how to meet and greet them, how to make them feel comfortable in their skin, how to communicate with them, come up with creative ways in which they can learn, and that empowers them, doesn't put them on Ritalin or put them in boxes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited about learning that this is your passion, it's my passion. And we're getting fairly close to the end of the call. We're got a few more minutes to go. So how do people get hold of you, and how did they attend your 12-strand activation?
Okay, so we're having a 12-strand activation on Monday evening today in Eastern Standard Time. And then every Monday after that from 7 o'clock till 8. I can give you my email address in a minute. But if anyone wants an individual one, because they're group calls on Zoom.
Yeah.
If anyone wants an individual one, they can also email me at a time that suits them and let me know, and I will do it. So my email address is Lorraine, Lorraine, Burke, Burke, 1944 at gmail.com. My phone number.
Go ahead.
Shall I give you my phone number?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Australia's country code is +61. So it's usually better to put that in front, +61, and then 04-154 08086. And so they can call me or they can email me. I'm also now on Facebook. So, yeah.
So
the world is our oyster.
And it'll take you to Facebook. So, and all this information will be in the show notes, and we're just really at the end of the call here. Thank you ever so much for being on the call, and we're going to have you back. And I really encourage everybody to go and have a 12-strand DNA activation and show up and be magnificent on planet Earth. So until the next time, it was great to talk with you, and bye for now.
Thank you, Tyhson.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.